Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing? Okay, we have a few things to talk about, and the first thing is this is a very important video that I want you to watch and pay attention to, okay? Especially when it comes to our food, especially for those of us that have freedom gardens, okay? For those of us that are farmers, homesteaders, okay? An American farmer says that he has been testing his soil, okay? Do you know how to test your soil? Do you have a soil tester? You can get one. I have one. I bought it at Home Depot. It was like $5 or $10. It's like a little monitor, or a little like digital thing like this, and it's got two prongs that come out of the bottom, and you just stick it into your soil, and it reads it, and it's a digital reader, and it tells you what's going on and what's in your soil and things like that, and the percentages and whatnot. Okay. Now, he's been testing his soil, and it has 5 times the amount of aluminum that it used to have. All right. Now, this is serious stuff. And the GMO seeds grow just fine, he says. All of his heirloom seeds, though, his crops, they're all failing. All of a sudden, they're failing. And in this video that I'm going to show you, he shows you proof. Okay. Now, just as a reminder, Billy Boy is creating these GMO seeds that grow in aluminum-rich soil. And he should not be on his way to meet 47 at Mar-a-Lago. He should be on his way to prison. Just my opinion, but whatever. So we are being ruled by, how can I say this in being nice, extremely ignorant, evil people. And one day, only their GMO creations will be the ones that grow. Say goodbye to your heirlooms because they're no longer going to be able to produce. I don't care how much of your own compost that you make, how much of your own fertilizer that you make. Okay, that point is now mute. Okay, they have total control of our food supply.
I've got to show you guys something. This is traditional sweet corn. Now, what's really wild about this is not what we used to call our heirloom seeds. This is just our regular sweet corn that you buy off the shelf. This is GMO corn. Now, we grow, this is our field corn. And the reason I want to show you this is I'm going to show you 2 things. This is heirloom corn. Now, we don't weed it. Normally every year, this corn has come up and done really good for the last 10 years. Same seed, so I've grown it over and over, and we rotate our crops. But also, you look at the sunflowers. Once you look at them sunflowers, the sun, I can't see it, but, well, the sun basically is right there, and they've got the flowers have turned away from the sun. This is not something, obviously, if you look down this, that's our garden. We grow over an acre worth of just garden. So what I'm trying to get at is something's not right. There's 2 things that ain't right. The amount of aluminum in our soil now is 5 times to 10 times higher than it was even last year. Let me show you something else. Now that sweet corn is bought, like I said, from the store, so it's not an heirloom seed. It's supposed to be an all-natural seed. It's non-genetically GMO, but I'm starting to doubt it. However, these are cucumber plants. Now, traditionally, those cucumbers, I'd have so many. After putting them on the stand, we'd be giving them away, giving them to food pantries. And our corn, you know, the heirloom corn, we'd be giving it away. Our garden this year has suffered the worst. It's not due for not water. These are some of our hot pepper plants. Normally, these plants I would have so many of these hot peppers that you wouldn't be able, I wouldn't be, like I said, I couldn't sell enough of them. We'd be giving them away. And hopefully we have a better garden next year. So we still got enough that we're going to be able to maintain costs, operational costs. We still have our vegetable stand. It's just not booming like it usually is. We've let the weeds kind of come back up and take over some of the garden because we weren't getting the production out of it what we should. So the stand's good. We're going to can enough for our family, but as far as being able to provide for others, it's not going to be as viable for us to be able to do that. Y'all have a good day.
Now, this video right here is of a young man, which brava for what he says. He's not playing around, and I'm all for what he says, okay? He is the perfect example of standing up to corrupt politicians that are only here to destroy American cities. We need more people like this man to do the same.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
You spent over $574 million on illegal immigrants here in Chicago, Illinois since 2022. Now, you still feel like you have to harbor these illegals, which is not a good idea. And in my personal opinion, I don't think it's a good idea to challenge Tom Homan on this because he's trying to clean up our cities, Mr. Brandon Johnson. Now, let me just remind everybody here that Brandon Johnson is terrible with the budget. How is this $40 million credit line is going to work exactly? Because the key word is credit. So how much will we be using from this $40 million? And the real question is, how much will we be paying back? Now, you want to sit here, you and JB Pritzker want to puff out your chest and fight Tom Homan. We need Tom Homan here in Chicago. We need Donald Trump. And I don't want to see people like Pam Bundy and Cash Patel, haul you up out of here and become prosecuted. I don't want to see that happen. But they will do their job if they have to, Brandon Johnson. Now, we are $1 billion in debt. That's absolutely insane. Kamala Harris, she spent $1 billion on her campaign less than a year, and she's $20 million in debt. So it's looking like Democrats are bad with money. Now, you ignored me for 10 to 15 seconds last time I was speaking, and I really did not appreciate that at all. But I got a Christmas present for you. Let's remind the people of Chicago that Brandon Johnson spent $32,000 in campaign funds on haircuts and makeup. So I got an early Christmas present for you, Brandon Johnson. This is some makeup for you right here. You got some rouge. You got the makeup brush right there. So you can save this people some money, for crying out loud. Now, let me tell you people, I'm going to be serious here. We need to start voting different in these cities like New York and Chicago. Stop voting these people in. It's not Democrat versus Republican anymore. It is populist versus establishment. It is the populist versus the establishment. Stop letting them trick you into the race baiting when it comes to Brandon Johnson. Oh, black people need help too. Trump want to hurt black people. What are you talking about? We're legal here. We are legal.
Now, in this last video, this is an exclusive video at Turning Point America Fest in Phoenix, Arizona. Jacob Chansley, remember him? Otherwise known as the J6 Shaman. He spoke with glee about 47's election in 2024 as poetic justice. And the media lies about 46's mental faculties, and his hope that 47 would pardon many of the J6ers, which I hope that is literally first thing that he does. Yeah. So let's watch, okay, because listen to what he says, because he is so accurate on everything that he says.
I want to get your reaction to the news that Trump is likely going to pardon the J6ers, maybe on day one or as soon as he gets in office.
That's what I've heard, and I am hoping to God that it will get some people out of prison. I'm still on probation, so technically I'm still serving my sentence, so I'm hoping, if he decides to do a blanket pardon, that'd be great. I would love to have my record clean, but, there's people that are still suffering behind bars, and I would like to see them free.
How poetic is it that Vice President Kamala Harris has to certify the election results on January 6, 2025?
Evidence that God has a sense of humor. You know, it's like Joe Scarborough just bad-mouthing Donald Trump for years and saying that Joe Biden's the best version of Joe Biden out there, and then now he has to go kiss the ring at Mar-a-Lago. You know, it's just, God loves poetic justice.
So what's your reaction to the talk of, Joe Biden considering preemptive pardons to people that have targeted Trump or, Trump's political opponents? Doesn't that make them look guilty?
Yes. Well, here's the thing, though. Let's talk about it. Let's really have a conversation about this. The FBI or the DOJ admitted the Hunter Biden laptop in federal court as evidence, which means that the Hunter Biden laptop is real. Even though we were told it was fake, and it was conspiracy theory and Russian disinformation, it's real. Okay? That means that the over 400 felonies that are on there are also real, which means that the influence peddling, the bribery, the basically treasonous acts that are on that laptop, they're real. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but if a person is found guilty of something like treason, then any and all legal actions that they take are void, okay? Because they've broken the law. Now, let's just say, have you seen the new Mike Benz on Joe Rogan, the new interview that he did?
I've not seen the recent one.
It's really good. He breaks down the deep state in about 3 hours of the censorship industrial complex.
Yeah.
So what we're dealing with here is it's such a large system that we are witnessing its downfall in very real time. They are going to try to obfuscate all of the laws that they've broken over the last 8 to 10 years. But you can't just commit treason and then have the treasonous president pardon everybody and then expect that to go away. At least that's what I think.
Yeah. So you're talking about like the FBI kind of meddling with the social media companies to censor American, like the federal government?
I'm talking more so like if the Hunter Biden laptop is real, which it is, okay, then we're talking about foreign nations bribing Joe Biden and other American officials, okay, elected officials, bureaucrats, etc. Think of it like this. The Twitter files with almost every government agency. Imagine what's in there, okay? Imagine with January 6th if they release all the footage, okay? The whole reason why we're in the mess that we're in is because everybody is arguing over lies and what misinformation is true. The only way for our institutions to regain credibility with the American people and abroad is if they open things up. These institutions have to do their naked lap, they have to do their naked walk of shame, and then they can put their clothes back on and they can go back to work. You know what I'm saying? But people have to have severe legal consequences for what it is that they've done.
Yeah. So what's your reaction then to if Kash Patel gets confirmed as the new FBI director? What do you think is going to happen with that?
So Kash Patel doesn't need Donald Trump's permission to declassify what Christopher Wray has classified. Okay, so that means Kash Patel can come in and say, oh, J6 footage, released. Oh, Jeffrey Epstein client list, released. Oh, Diddy client list, released. He could do all that. He could release stuff about, the Trump assassination attempt, right? All of that stuff is now open to whoever gets into, and that's part of why I'm so glad that RFK Jr. is the head of HHS, or he's going to be, hopefully, because the amount of stuff that institution has been suppressing, criminal.
Yeah.
Criminal.
Okay, so switching gears to Mike Johnson, House Speaker Mike Johnson. He was supposed to speak at this event in the coming days at America Fest. He canceled. As we know, his spending bill collapsed. What do you think's going on with that?
Business as usual is not on the menu in Washington, D.C. anymore. Now, part of the reason why I say that is because as a nation, our collective consciousness, our group mind has basically come to the understanding that we've been lied to for decades, right? So that level of deception has created such a level of mistrust in American institutions that I don't know if some of them will survive. But that's a good thing. The bureaucracy is a fourth branch of government. The Founding Fathers defined tyranny as a consolidation of all three branches of government into a single centralized power. The bureaucracy, they have their own ability to write law through writing regulations. They have their own regulation enforcement agents that enforce their laws, and they have their own administrative courts. So the whole system, the whole federal system is like solidified and turned into a centralized power with the bureaucracy. It has to end.
So with Trump getting back into office in January, where do you see the trajectory of the country going?
Better than it was before.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. There's going to be a great amount of resistance. So we have to think to ourselves, okay, what did they do last time in 2020 to make our lives miserable? Or during the whole Trump administration, calling us racist, calling us misogynist, etc. But at this point, those lies aren't going to work because our collective consciousness is above their BS. We know that they've been lying to us. So the lies aren't going to work the same way anymore, right? So yeah, so that shield that they had and that sword, it's broken. They have nothing. And that's why we're seeing the infighting in the Democrat Party, because they know that they don't have a future going down this woke route, but that's where most of their people are at.
Yeah, but they don't seem to have learned though. You know, they played the same playbook in the 2024 election with Kamala Harris, and the same, you know, trying to cater to certain wedge issues that no one really cares about, and the same kind of name calling, the same kind of whatever rhetoric that they use. Do you think that they've learned it all?
I don't think so. I think that they might try to put people like Fetterman out there because he seems to be more centrist or trying to be more centrist. I'll put it this way: the Democrat Party of the Joe Bidens and the Hillary Clintons is gone. Now they're going to try to look to new people, whether it be Hakeem Jeffries or whatever. You know, these people, they don't have a deep bench. Gavin Newsom, Gretchen Whitmer. You know what I'm saying? Give me a break. They don't have a deep bench. Now, here's the other thing, though, is that in many ways the Republicans don't really have a deep bench either. Because Elon Musk, former Democrat. Tulsi Gabbard, former Democrat. RFK Jr., former Democrat. Okay? J.D. Vance, smart, sharp. Okay, good. We'll see what he does with it. But who in the Republican Party do you look to, do you think that is a leader? Mitch McConnell? Dan Crenshaw? Come on now. Johnson, Speaker Johnson, McCarthy, Matt Gaetz. I mean, these are their strong players. I could wipe the floor with them. And I'm the guy wearing horns and face paint. So that says a lot if they're in a suit and trying to swindle people into believing some BS. So we have to come back to a place where the founding documents are the basis for our ideology.
Yeah.
And at this point, Republicans and Democrats are running the government in a way that is counter to the founding documents.
What's next for you on the agenda?
Well, I'm doing my thing on my website, ForbiddenTruthAcademy.com. I'm also painting. I'm also writing a new book. So I'm creating culture.